recording now. So hello everybody to this Keptn community meeting today on the 1st of March. I'm your host, as I said. I'm on short notice. I got asked if I can take over from Moritz because he's sadly occupied. Well, today we have a pretty short agenda. So first of all, Moritz wanted to talk about a little bit about the KLT status and the Keptn V1 status. This is postponed till the next community meeting. He will share his note, also his updates there. And if you have questions, if you have other topics, please add them to the agenda at the bottom. We will get to them one after the other. So, and I will simply start with the tasks with my agenda items. First of all, we will take a short look at Peribolos. Some of you maybe have seen that we have started, this discussion regarding Peribolos, and more likely Peribolos is a tool which is Kubernetes is using for managing their organizations and the user management. And we are now in a state where we can say, okay, we have something to show you. We have tested it and it's most likely ready to get merged. And I will shortly demo you what we are doing with this tool. Therefore, I have created a few pull requests. So I have created an own organization called Keptn Peribolos Test Communities. And let's say we wanted to add a new member to this organization. So I have prepared a pull request for adding a new member to the organization. In this case, it's Giovanni Liva. He said he is willing to join. So we will add him overall to the Keptn team. So he has access to the Keptn team. He will be part of the lifecycle toolkit as an approver. He will be, and he will join the overall organization. Where is it? Here's the organization, where we will add him as a member, and we also add him to the overall global maintainers. And that's now the whole pull request. And what is when we say, okay, this is good, and somebody approved it, we can merge it. And this will trigger our whole pipeline afterwards to give him access. And we can shortly take a look at what's actually going on. So our tool will then fetch all this data, generate a really nice Peribolos configuration, and we can also check afterwards. Wow, okay. I will just minimize all those things, all the unneeded things. So we will generate the Peribolos configuration, and when we take a look at our team, currently we have 2 members. There is an open invite and nothing special going on. But as this tool runs through now and will apply the configuration, we will soon see that we will have a second invite now. It's for Giovanni. And also, this is not the important part where we will wait to the end, because we will see that Giovanni, as I said, his invite will be also heavily improved, because he will also get access to, just a second, I need to authenticate. That he will get access to, that he will be added to those teams we configured in our configuration. Furthermore, we have seen these teams here, and these teams also did have, this based on the configuration. We saw that certain teams, for example, the Keptn team has access to those repositories, the maintainers of this team. And it looks like that. We have here maintainers, we have here this Keptn group with the approvers with 0 members. But when we go down, we have here the maintainers where Moritz is a member, and we have the admins where nobody is a member. And those Keptn maintainers, for example, have access to those 9 repositories we configured with maintainer permissions. And this is now all handled via GitOps. But that's not everything. So if you have questions, you can always interrupt me and I will answer questions. But that's not everything. Additionally to this configuration, we also included an additional, we also used the full feature of Peribolos and said, hey, why not also provision our repositories with that? And that's why I created the team love boat. So I created a team Loveboat, which has access to the repository Loveboat with 3 maintainers in there. I created here, there is an own section called repos, where we can simply add repositories with a description and the name. And as soon as I merge this, the build here will fail due to, it will just simply fail because it tries to access a list of a team which was not created. So the team will be created with this merge request. I merge this now, and we will see, when this action ran through, we should normally have a new, we should have a new team, we should have a new repository, and this team should have access to these repositories. So this allows us in the future to easier manage member assignments, be more consistent, who has where, which permissions, and have a better overview about actual members, contributors, maintainers, etc., where they have access and where they do not have access to. So I just will let this run through. This should not take that long, actually. Okay. So here we have our configuration, and we see already that there are Loveboat approvers in there with a sub-team called Loveboat maintainers, with a team called Loveboat admins, and this configuration is now running. And by now, we actually should have here within the Perivolos repositories, we should have our Loveboat, our repository, which we define should be created. And within the settings, we see as collaborators and teams, we see this admins, approvers, and maintainers are here, and also the Loveboat admins, the Loveboat approvers, and the Loveboat maintainers. If they do have members or not members, we do not care more likely, but the people get added here with the teams get added with their permissions. And when we take a look at the teams, actually, we should see here also our Loveboat approvers, more likely, and in there we have our Loveboat maintainers, and the Loveboat maintainers consist of 2 members. And have access to this repository Loveboat. That's Perivolos. So far, this is everything which I wanted to show you regarding that. If you have questions, feel always free to ask. Important it is, please take a look at the pull request within the Keptn repository. I also adapted the markdown regarding community membership, etc., because it did not reflect the current changes, and it would be good to get here input and input and feedback before we merge this. No? Okay. Any questions regarding Perivolos? Does not seem like it. Perfect. Then we continue with the documentation setup. So recently, the documentation setup, we revamped it a little bit and changed it. So now our documentation is set up a little bit differently. First, we start with the easy changes. So, and this is actually, this is when you open a pull request and when you change something regarding your documentation, we now enable you, again, like it was with the Keptn documentation, that you can have a preview of your documentation. There's this deploy preview, and we can click that, and we will have the full documentation built based on your branch and your changes on the branch. You can click through everything, you can take a look, and you can inspect if something has changed or not changed, what has changed, if it's rendered correctly. And also it gives the possibility to the reviewers to verify that everything is rendered correctly, and to read the documentation more like it will be delivered to others. That's the one part. That's the easy part. So we have, again, a Netlify build, which allows you to take a look. Only, and that is important, this page will only generate it if you change the documentation. If you do not change anything within the documentation, you will not get, this build, this will be canceled. The second part of this is now, we have this main, we have our, also the development, the main branch, so our staging environment or the latest development branch is also built automatically and is accessible currently, still within our test domain before we set it live. This is more likely showing it today, showing it next week, and afterwards we will configure the domains to be used by the actual domains. The main branch will be also always built and be accessible with this domain. We have here a link to the production branch, also to the production page, and back to this documentations within this folder. So this means everything you push to the main branch, you do not need to change it anymore. It will be always, we do not need to migrate those files. It will be always the main branch. It will be built when you push something to it. And this means our documentation of the latest development branch will be always stable, and we do not need to move files around, do commits in another repository or anything like that. And now comes the third part, and this is the most interesting part, in my opinion, is the production build. Before that, the production build was delivered from on a different repository. So we always copied the files from one repository to the other, did a renaming, etc. We needed to adapt the configuration file that these releases are fixed, and this is not the case anymore. Now we changed this to, now we have a so-called orphaned branch within our repository called page. Within this branch, we only have the documentation folder and the Netlify configuration. This allows us to reduce the now I'm missing the word, reduce the complexity with another repository, and we can configure it within here. Additionally, this release, before that, we needed to configure this release more like this version always via YAML file. We changed this now, and we adopted it that this documentation is fetched, that those versions are automatically built based on the directory they are in. So, and the one which is the current one is tagged with latest. No? So we have the older versions where you can see in the bottom line, it's V050 from the documentation, and the latest one will be always the docs folder simply without any addition of version, etc. This has some SEO is regarding SEO. This with that kind of solution, all our backlinks from other pages, etc., will always point to the newest documentation, and we do not need to update canonical URLs and things like that. And we also have here the link back to the development, which is currently not working. There's a pull request open to fix this and point that to the right URL, because there is a dash instead of the URL is totally wrong. Yeah, we have multiple pull requests also regarding this open. So if you want to take a closer look, we have multiple pull requests open fixing those. For example, we have one which is adding all this documentation information. We have one which will also add HTML test, that our link verification, like we know from Keptn v1, is working and everything like that is in place. And we have here the two pull requests to fix actually the links on top, that they are linking, also in the version that the development on the production branch is linking to the correct version, and that production on the development branch, also on the staging branch, on the staging build is linking to the correct version. This was now a lot of information in a fast pace. Yeah. Any question regarding that?
Many, but I will keep it short and simple.
Yeah.
If you go to the, the production lifecycle dash test, yes.
Yeah.
And if you press on docs,
yes,
which version will be this?
This version will be the latest version, which is the latest version released.
Perfect.
I can also go shortly through the logic. So if you want to have a deeper insight on what is going on behind the scenes.
Why not?
Okay, then let's do a little dig in, because that's interesting. So within our build for the documentation, as soon as a version is released, we are triggering our build, and our build creates something which is really important. We create within the page branch, within each directory, we create a version file which tells us which version this is built in. Without this information, it works for all the other branches where we have the version suffix, but it does not work for the docs branch because there is no version information. And that's an important part of this whole thing. now when we take a look at our release build, and this is there we are utilizing the GitHub API and also this version file. So I shortly go through this step by step. What we do first, we detect the needed folder operation. So we check up here. We do as a first better a different way. First, we request the GitHub API and tell them, hey, give us the latest version of, give us the version of the latest release, the tech name. And we take this and we save this information. And then we compare, is the version within the input, which we provided to this, is this the same version? Is the latest version the same version we provide? Because then we need to do more checks. For example, is the tech name we provide not like the current version? So did we do a version upgrade? Then we need to migrate this folder, and we define this as a migrate. We need to migrate the folder and provide the version we need to migrate to. And we define in which directory we should point this documentation to. Because just because we are doing a release does not mean it's the latest version. It can be also a patch or minor release for a previous version. And we handle that. And then the cool part is also if we need it, we move the old release documentation folder, and then we copy the configuration. This means all the configuration, as soon as we do a latest release, only when we do a latest release, we take the config folder out of our main branch and put everything over the documentation. This means we do not need to maintain it in the page folder. We maintain it in the main folder where all our development work is happening. And we can adapt this to our needs, how we want to need it. Then we copy the documentation folder, and in the end, we push everything to the branch. This is the whole logic. It's a little bit simpler and smaller and more compromised within this repository. I hope this makes the process a little bit easier than working with multiple repositories, coping everything.
Totally.
Simon, could you go back to where you enter into the top level though? Because if I'm doing a PR that's making changes, when that opens, I am in the current release. I will not see the changes that are in my PR. So make that clear.
What do you mean? Where do you
go back when if you go in, Giovanni asked you where you land, that you're in.
Yes.
Now, if this is for my PR of new changes, I need to go to development to see it.
Now, when it's open, it's for your PR. You have I need to go to this pull request with the preview. So when you go to your PR, you have down here under the checks, you have here a section called deploy.
Okay.
And as soon as you click here on details, it will open and it's a total different domain. It's simply a really simple domain which will guide you to your preview. So this is the easiest way to access your preview. You can you can always go to development and to production, but you will never leave the. You will never be able to go to your preview from the main branch or from the production branch.
Okay, so when I build locally, it's only when I have to specify development.
When you go locally, when you build locally, the only thing you go to is still the local host domain /docs. Or
right, but for my because I freaked out more times than I care to count. I've got it and I open it up and nothing is there that I've been changing until I go to the development branch.
Okay, no, just
locally.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure. I'm in a branch currently. I'm switching to the main branch and starting the server. That's what I'm doing. Make server so that we can take a look at it. So I started now you do not see this because I only share the browser window. I'm starting now the server with make server, and the server is booting up. Just a second, so it's running now. And what that means is on this domain, I have now my documentation page, as I'm the release page. When I click here on docs, I come into the documentation, and the same thing applies for development up here. Production will guide me to the main page, also to the official documentation, but development will be local. In the local development will be my local branch.
Right.
that?
And I want it for my PR, I want to see my local branch.
Yeah, this is your local branch. When you start this from your
Right.
on your local machine, you just make server, and you will have your local changes for this branch under /docs.
But I'm almost positive, I didn't do this in the last few hours. If I don't go development, I don't see what I'm, because this current one that I'm working on is going into the development branch for now, right?
Yeah, so it's in your development branch. Also, when you say development branch, you mean here on top on the releases development, or do you mean your Git branch? That's a little bit
My Git
confusing.
branch, yeah. Do me a favor, can you go to PR 758? I'm sorry, 785.
No, 785. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Now look at the Netlify for it.
Yeah, there is no Netlify because
Okay.
most likely your branch does not have the changes of the main branch within it within it. As you know what I mean? So you need to rebase the brand, you need to rebase main onto it that you have. When was this happen? It was
Because I
last
haven't rebased it. Okay, but
uh,
put it back to the writer. Just the writer. I'm writing something locally and I want to see it built. I think I have to go into the development branch or it doesn't show up.
no, no. Now when you start your branch, so for your branch, the fact it's just outdated and it's missing the information from the main branch. But as soon as you take a new, now currently when you create a branch from the main branch, everything is there and you just hit make server, and the local host is it is available at localhost 1314 for your local.
Okay, I'll check that out later. For our new contributors here, do all of you have a local development branch set up for documentation? And if you're not, do you know how to do it? Would you like to see a demo, a quick demo?
Misha says yes.
Yeah,
in the chat.
I set
Please,
up
I have
it,
set it up.
and I could visit the 1314, but a quick demo will be great.
Excellent. How about everybody else?
Do we want to do this demo now or out of curiosity?
Would anybody like to see a demo of how you set up a local build branch for the documentation? Or are you all set? Silence.
If time allows, yeah, I would love to know.
Okay. Just checking. Okay. So then I should do this, I assume.
Sure.
Just a second. So I'm switching to my IDE, and I will do everything out of the IDE and starting from the beginning. Okay. I assume, also this is a prerequisite, I assume everybody did the git checkout and is aware of how a git checkout works, a basic check.
And fork and clone, everybody's forked and cloned?
Forking and cloning should be, as I said, I assume you have set up everything locally that you actually can work with the repository, so with the basic repository and to basic. I'm
asking if that's true of everybody.
So I do the whole process. I will also open a pull request afterwards. Okay, that makes life easier for everyone. I'm just closing here everything. Close all. Perfect. So can you see my console? Is it readable?
Yeah, a little bit bigger would be nice.
So a little bit
there
bigger.
We go.
That's how can I make it bigger? I'm not sure how to make the
That's
font.
good. That's good.
Okay, perfect. So I do a git reset. So I just put it back into the former status. I also remove my input. So I also remove my input file. So okay. Checking. Okay, perfect. We are now up to date with the upstream branch. There's now no changes locally, etc. And I am on the main branch, as you can see here, on branch main. When I start working on the documentation, the first thing I will do is I create my own branch. There are multiple from there. You can do it with git checkout. I prefer git switch -c, and let's call it docs showing.
Don't you want to first pull upstream master and all of that?
That's my main is linked to upstream master. Git fetch upstream. Okay, then so I'm now on my main. I can I for the safety I do a git pull or git pull upstream main. Is it like that or is it? No, it's sorry. Sometimes it's with a I do git pull upstream main, so I'm fully I'm up to date with my main. No. What I do now is I create my branch so I can work with it. So I create my branch, I call it docs showing how to run. And I create my branch. Now I am in my branch docs showing how to run. And this allows me now to work with the documentation and to do any kind of builds with the documentation. So I change now to the docs folder. Soon we do not need this changing anymore. You can run the server also from the root directory. And I call now make server. So this will now download my Hugo modules and everything and will spin up the server so I can verify the changes of the server. In the meantime, till this is fully done, oh, it's already running. I open a documentation page like this docs getting started. Now comes the complicated part. How do I share also a browser window? So, okay, let's do the simple part here first. My screen is too big to share everything. That's why I'm not providing. I need to show you that. Sorry, just a second. I need to change my screen share. Advanced portion of screen. Hopefully this is working. Is something happening? No. Okay, it does not let me share a portion of the screen. How do I best do this then? I'm sorry now. I will share my whole desktop. I'm really sorry for the resolution. I hope you can see something there, okay? I will then later share a separate window. I'm on Linux and it's not that great to share those kind of things, okay?
Okay.
So I share my whole screen. I will close that in the meeting. So you should see on the one side, my IDE, and on the other side, you see the browser. And we have here now the documentation, localhost, the documentation available on port 14. And this is the documentation. When I go here to the overview, I see here learn Keptn how to use docs. On the other side, I see that my server is running. And as soon as I do here some changes, I will see that a rewrite is triggered. I also can put in here additional information like this is showing an update. So I'm rendering here, this is showing an update, and voila, on this side, this is showing an update is shown. With that, I can easily write locally documentation and adapt the documentation. So yeah, doing magic things. Additionally, we also have some tools in place which are checking for certain violations of the structure or things like that. I'm also showing this right currently because I think that's quite helpful. So you see now I used here a header and a second header, and we have a tool in place called Markdown Lint, which will check if the configuration is properly working or not. In Visual Studio Code, for example, you can use a plugin which will automatically pick up this configuration and will show you, hey, there's something wrong with the heading. There should be only a level 3 heading and not a level 4. On the other side, and this is something which is quite useful. We have a tool called Markdown lint, and we can always inflict this with make, which will download the Docker images and run this configuration. And we will see now, that here it says, oh, header increment is not working within this file. There is actually on line 16, in this file, I hope this is visible. On line 16, we have an error which needs to be fixed. We can fix this manually, or we also have a target which Markdown lint offers, which is called Markdown lint fix, which we can apply, and this will run, and it is not able to fix this error, but it will fix this error. It can address. For example, if we have a heading starting somewhere in the middle, it will be able to address those issues. So when you say now Markdown lint, it will complain here that we have multiple headings with the same content, or for example, that we have here, I will add now a letter, that we have here, for example, in the front spaces before the heading, which we should not do. Up here, we have too many blank lines. And when I say now Markdown lint fix, it will apply, and all those which it can fix, it will be automatically fixing, which should allow you to have a more consistent style in writing and allow you to easier handle and also to have a better overview and to have a consistent style. Some of those rules are fixable, some are not fixable, just as an information. Yeah. Is that everything, Mac, or do you want to see
I don't
something?
know. I'm everybody's silent. I don't know where everybody is on getting stuff set up. Let's start out. Is there anybody here who does not have Hugo running locally?
I do have
I think
the local setup.
yeah.
I also have the
Because
local setup.
it's running on the Docker. So if you have
Okay.
Docker, then
Okay,
It's
and
pretty straightforward to like run in the local setup.
okay, so everybody's got it running locally, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Does anybody have any questions about how it's working? Excellent. We
Perfect.
look forward to seeing those PRs.
Okay, I will show you something additionally now, which will be soon get merged, which is also important when you're running the documentation. Because soon, I think I will use that now just as a preview for you. Soon we will have a tool called HTML test in place. And HTML test is a tool which will verify the generated HTML for certain aspects. So we can, for example, put here empty links. So we put here a text with an empty link, for example, or just like this. And now we have the possibility to run make HTML test, which will execute first the build of the page, and then it will execute HTML tests and verify that everything is in place as it should be. So this means are the links which we have there actually pointing to the right directory. Oh no, I'll switch. Sorry, I was in the wrong branch. Switch. So now, so make HTML test, and it will also check, and that's the most important thing. It will also check, for example, when we have a link here, which will pointing to. I assume this domain does not exist. No, it will check those and will say, hey, there is a link. For example, here you see already, hey, there is a link with an empty link or an empty hash. And it will check for those and will inform us about any kind of issues which can cause problems in HTML and for accessibility. Here you see, for example, hey, I could not get this, no such host. There is no host behind that. So if we have documentation or pages which do not exist, and try to include them in our documentation. Yeah. That's it now. Perfect. Any further questions?
I just wanted to bring one thing in. In one of the community meeting, when we were going through the installation process doc for Keptn, so Mag, you noticed about the old diagram of this particular process. Choosing access option. If you visit that link, the diagram which is there, it's outdated if I'm not wrong, right? The link is in the chat of the meeting.
Which link in the, sorry?
So it's just go to the Keptn docs and go to installation, choose access option, and there is a diagram of installation options.
We're talking about Keptn or life cycle?
Yeah, we are talking about the Keptn thing. Yeah, so
And?
if you go to the installation part and choose access options.
Okay.
Third point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this diagram, if I'm not wrong, this is outdated. If I'm not wrong.
Normally you should have here. You have this release one.y.x, and there's also installation, and there's also choose access options. Is this the same thing? Might be that this is the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a little nasty bit in the current structure of the Keptn docs, is that when you open them, you have the concepts and installation at the top, and those are actually the 1.19 versions. And you need to go under 1.0 or 1.y.z, I think it says now, but to get under there, and that's the installation for 1. Whatever. Is that your issue, Ayush?
Not particularly, but I had it somewhere that because I am working on this part of the documentation, I just wanted to ask if this particular diagram is outdated or not. If maybe we can upgrade it. But if this is not that big issue, we can maybe skip it. Am I audible? Hello.
So what is? I'm sorry, and I'm not. What's the problem? This page has some problems. What problem are you seeing? That's what I'm not.
In one of the meeting, I just heard that this particular diagram is outdated. So just wanted to know if we can upgrade this particular diagram or not, because I have been working on this particular section of installation.
Oh, excellent. This diagram may very well be outdated. I haven't looked at it carefully for a while.
So I just wanted to ask, in what particular section this diagram needs improvement. So maybe I can create an issue and maybe update it.
And
Okay.
do you know what changes to make? I mean, do you want to improve the diagram?
If you can help me in that, because particularly I'm not aware of the changes which should be made.
Do you know where the source file is? Is that what you're missing, the source file for this particular diagram?
No, I would be able to locate this file, but the actual changes which should be done in the diagram, if you can help me with this.
You mean actually how to do the graphics to change it?
Yeah, so particularly which point is outdated in the diagram, if you can help me, not in the meeting, but in the Slack channel.
Okay, let's see if we can get you some. I admit I don't know how to do it myself. But let me find, and the people who might know, let's find somebody who can help.
I'm not even sure where this is stored. So
I do. It's in the there's an asset subdirectory to.
I have been working on this, so I know it. It's in the if you go to the access part, and there is a complete structure of the file.
Right.
No, not here, not in the assets, not in the assets. Just I think it's in content. The docs. Yeah. So if you scroll down, it's here.
Oh, not, go docs 1.0.
Yeah, it should be in both. I thought here I have a click less. And here is asset, but here is just a PNG.
Right, you're not in, what's your, wait a minute, let me see your path, okay.
I can
In-
also, but I think there's also just only a PNG in here and nothing more. So
Well, it's under 1.0 / install. And then / whatever that is.
access slash. So here, this is we're talking about this image, huh?
Oh, there we go, yeah.
But this is just this is just a PNG, a checked-in image. I do not think
Oh, then that means that's what then somebody took a screenshot of this from someplace else.
we are generated this PNG. So a good first start, if you really want to work on this, would be I think we have Mermaid support. I'm not sure, Meg. Do you know? Do we
I
have
don't know.
Mermaid?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
Either we have Mermaid or Plant UML support, one of those, one of the two. So Mermaid diagrams. Mermaid is a language which is also used on GitHub to create flowcharts. So you can create so there's a live editor where you can easily create flowcharts based on code, which is really easy and helpful. Or the other one, we would need to check which is supported. The other one would be Plant UML. One of those two, I'm pretty sure we understand. So we are support. Yeah. But I cannot tell you which one exactly. Okay.
And also, if we have time, I would just want you to point to a PR for it's in the keptn.github.io PR number 1609.
What? Sorry, I did not.
PR number 1609, 1609.
1609. You mean this one?
Yeah. So if you can have a look at it and
okay. Where should I look at, or just review it later? I'm not
if
sure.
you can just go through the conversations on the PR, you'll get to get an overview of the thing which I have done. It's basically I have merged the 2 pages for documentation, which were kind of similar to each other, and I just wanted to draw attention of Meg here because she's an reviewer for this PR.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, we will take a look at it.
Let's look at it, yeah, and get the experts on this to look at it.
Understood.
Okay.
Perfect. So I take a look at the agenda. There's nothing more added. Are there any other questions or requests popping up? Now is the time to speak.
We will be having the talk for KLT in the next meeting, right?
We will have what? Sorry.
For the lifecycle toolkit.
We will
So
talk
what-
about it in the next meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moritz will share his updates regarding that and the Keptn V1 status, etc. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. Then
And a week from tomorrow, we're going to start having docs office hours every week. I'll be sending out a notice shortly. And a place to, and then we'll have a chance to watch more. We'll look at the open PRs and the open issues and stuff together in there, so. Oh, is everybody set for today?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for your
Thank
contribution.
you.
Yeah.
Have a
Thanks,
nice
Thank you.
Simon.
Thank you.
day.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.